Show for you guys. As you know, we're wrapping up our little spree of interviews for the show. We started out with Claudio Castagnoli, went with Nigel McGuinness, and now we wrap up with the big cheese, so to speak, of the spree. Current Ring of Honor World Champion, and literally he's been wrestling as long as most of you have been alive. Please welcome to the show, Jerry Lynn.
Hey, guys. That's
Jerry,
scary. Wrestling as long as a lot of people have been alive. It's scary when you think about that.
Well, I mean, I happen to be alive a bit longer than most of our audience, so at least I can at least remember watching you, early ECW days, but I don't know about half our listeners.
Well, yeah, it's always a really good feeling when they say, I remember watching you when I was little, and I'm like, oh, boy.
Yeah, I mean, I was at least a little on my way when I first seen you in ECW, so it wasn't too little. But thank you for coming on the show. It's an honor to have you on here.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
We have a ton of questions from our members and some in chat, so I guess we'll just get started. Our chat member Zodiac would like to know, how was the atmosphere like in WCW? And were the people that are commonly mentioned, like Nash, Hall, and Hogan, were they really responsible for ruining WCW, like people say?
You can't really name one person, I don't think, for destroying WCW, because at that time, it was kind of a sad thing that even, I think everyone was just thinking that Turner had bottomless pockets and no one had anything to worry about, so they were just, and that it was never going to end. And I don't think people stopped to think and realize that when Turner merged with Time Warner that there were other people to answer to. And see, even production people just didn't care about the product or anything. They were just there just to grab a paycheck, and it seemed like no one took any pride in their work at all. There'd be, nitros. Here we are 10 minutes before going live on nationwide TV, and the board wouldn't even be up yet with the match lineups. So you didn't even know who you're wrestling until 5-10 minutes before we're going live on that, on TV.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Brad.
I guess my turn here. Jerry, honor to meet you. True honor, actually. Andy in the forum would like to know, what led to your departure from WWE, and would you ever go back if offered the chance?
I think my departure from WWE was a combination of, first of all, I was hurt, and second of all, they had just bought out WCW, and so they had twice as many guys as they needed. And in professional wrestling, we're all like a bunch of toys. When this toy gets broke, bring on the new toy. So
that's a good answer, actually.
That's about what it amounts to.
Would you go back if offered the chance?
If the money was right, because to be on their schedule, a lot of the guys that go there for next to nothing don't realize that when you go there, first of all, you're covering all your own car rentals, hotels, food, you name it, and then you got to find places to work out on the road, so that's extra money to be able to go work out in gyms. You have to file taxes in every state you work in. It's besides all the on-the-road expenses, then you got your bills you're paying at the same time at home. By the end of the year, if you don't get a decent downside guarantee or they don't do anything with you and put out merchandise on you so you can get royalty checks, you have nothing left. Yeah. So it has to be for a decent amount downside guarantee. And then if they don't give you a decent downside guarantee, they have no motivation to do anything with you and get their money back.
That's very true. Now, I have a question, actually, that's on the forum, since you mentioned since the departure from WWE came up. I was one of the people that watched TNA in its early days, the weekly pay-per-views. I used to order them every week. Your matches in early TNA, in my opinion, were probably the best I've seen from you. And what's your opinions on that? Like your matches with Just Incredible and I believe there was one with AJ Styles that was just amazing in my opinion that you had. What was your did you enjoy working early TNA? What was it like in that anti-WWE environment and just a new company just starting out? What was that like?
Well, I wouldn't call it anti-WWE. I think we're just trying to give the fans an alternative, because what I liked about the beginning was we would further feuds and storylines with stuff happening backstage. Like AJ and I would have a brawl in catering or something, and instead of just going to the ring, each having a microphone and each trying to have our own deaf comedy jam and sounding like two kids on a playground saying, "My dad can beat up your dad." That gets a little ridiculous and tiresome. So I just liked the way at the beginning we tried to continue feuds, with some old school style, like when the Horsemen would jump someone or something.
Yeah.
So it was exciting that way. But then, after a while, it seemed like they wanted to try and copy Vince, and you can't beat Vince at his own game.
Yeah. And I've said that plenty of times on here. You may dislike him, you may like him, but you can't. He is the master of what he has accomplished. I mean, I find it amazing that WCW got as far as they did, and I don't see anyone ever dethroning Vince, but that's just my opinion. I may not agree with the product he puts on right now, but...
Well, I don't think you should set out with the mindset of trying to dethrone him, but give the fans an alternative, something different. Because right now, to me, WWE is a satire of a wrestling program. I mean, he won't even call his guys wrestlers. They're sports entertainers.
Yeah. Actually, that's originally what got me into Ring of Honor and the indie scene around the nation, actually, is because of I wasn't into WWE in the early 2000s after they bought WCW. I thought their product went horribly at that time, but just my opinion, obviously. But I know there's plenty of people that back that up, because look at the success of Ring of Honor and of other companies that are around the world. But...
Right. And, at the same time, there are a lot of wrestling fans that like WWE. Everyone likes wrestling for different reasons. You just got to give them a variety.
All right.
I have to throw my own question in here. I've got a question list here, but I have to throw my own in. If you had to pick one of the people you worked with in TNA, which my favorite match in the early days of TNA was you, Loki, and AJ Styles in the ladder match. If you had to pick between Loki and AJ Styles to work with, which one would you rather work with?
Oh, boy. Those aren't fair questions to ask, because I enjoy working with each person for different reasons, I don't know. I can't really pick, because I've had some good matches with Low Key, too.
Okay.
I don't know. He just knows I won't lay there for the double stomp, that's all. I'll move.
I wouldn't either. You couldn't pay me $10 million to lay there and take that move. All right. Our next official question comes from MW3 from the forums, Mr. Wrestling 3. He wants to know, what was your favorite company to work for and why?
Oh, ECW, just because of the fun factor. And I don't mean in the ring, just in the ring. I mean outside the ring, too. I mean, it was every time you got up and got ready to go catch that flight, you knew you were in for, you didn't even know what you were in for. It was really crazy. It was, you knew you were going to be thoroughly entertained, not just by the fans at the show or, it was just the boys in the back. There'll never be another crew like that again.
All right. Also from the same person regarding that question, he actually thought you might have answered ECW. What was it like working in the last ECW pay-per-view?
I almost didn't do it.